Good morning. We
Good
are.
afternoon,
I'm JP.
and I'm Lovis, and together we're the
We
Ghost
are
Founders.
Ghost. Wrong side. Ghost founder. And all right. So today we are talking about the ultimate guide to ghost founding. What's like? What is that? So what we're actually going to talk about is, how do you make money online? How do you get a business that runs well online started if that's not your domain of expertise? And that's essentially what ghost founding is. So let's chat about it. All right.
Yeah, so for me, it all starts with Ghost Founders' tagline, which is Ghost Founder helps people and businesses figure out how to make money online. And so, what does that mean, right? So, basically, the vast majority of businesses today are still don't have an avenue to actually generate money via the internet. Some businesses are in person and can only be performed that way, like getting a haircut. However, there is, of course, ways that a snappy expert hairstylist can create some sort of digital format and then offer that to a wider audience via social media to their existing customer base in tons of different ways. And so, because we at Ghost Funder don't expect the expertly hairstylist to really understand or really have to have all the knowledge that goes into how you do that, how you quote unquote productize your knowledge into something like that. That's exactly why we've created the service that we have, which, yeah, we help you basically figure this out, right? We come in and we look at what do you do, what's your expert knowledge, how to structure it, and we take it from there all the way to really stand up a complete like digital sidearm to your existing business.
Nice. So I'll make a statement and it's going to seem like a bold one, but every service business needs a digital component that is product based, that is running independent of the time you're delivering stuff. And the reason I say that is because one, you need to have some predictability to your income in a way that can scale. So if you get to a point where you have 1,000 customers on your wait list and you could actually help them with something that is on demand, you owe it to them to do that. Two, if you don't have any other businesses are like people. You need multiple streams of income coming in. And either you increase your overhead, either managerial or financial overhead by hiring more people to render the services, or you hire some machines to do it. Now, by hiring some machines to do it, it means you're building little robots, and that could be in little pieces, like a video that lives online. It's a little machine that shares our tagline, right? If we make a little course, well, that's us giving you a service, but it does it with our expertise being done on demand when you're ready, not when we're ready. I mean, it's kind of
Right.
selfish for us to wait for you. I mean, for you to wait for us to be ready when you could do that whenever you're ready. So that's kind of like the second reason for it. So if you think about it, I love to have three reasons for things. And the third reason is making money in your sleep is actually a thing. Like I remember I was on vacation earlier this year, and it was kind of like really stressful because traveling in the pandemic, I had a N95 mask on with a cloth mask over that, and I think I was wearing a hood. Like it was pretty crazy. But I'm on the plane, stressed all out. I get to my destination, which was actually fairly remote, and I get to hang out, and I'm like, just like, all right, cool, this is cool. And then this was like around the 6th, and then you turn on the TV, and it's like, oh man, the whole country is going crazy in the U.S. side, and you're like, man, what is happening, right? So I go to bed a little bit stressed out. I wake up the next morning, it's like, ooh, somebody bought your book, and I was like, Nice.
Nice.
Right? It's a book I wrote 2 years ago. Didn't really think about it. I was on vacation and I definitely was not working. And it's just like some money came in from some digital thing you did way back when, because it has a whole system that it's running independent of your time. So those are the three for me. And I think that if you look at it, every service business, like we kind of are a service business because it's consultative, the nature of what we deliver. Even if we do put a lot of tools around it, the benefit comes from our expertise building businesses, working with stuff online, building products online, building stuff in tech startups. Like that's really what we're bringing to you. But even in our type of business, like the key is to make sure that you basically have something that can run and do the work that you need if it doesn't need you. And this knowledge that we're transferring right now, this video, this story that I just shared, doesn't need me to be there when you're ready. It just needs to be ready when you are. So that's the reason every service business needs a digital sidearm, because there are things that need to be on demand and available all the time. And that's what we do. That's what ghost founding is all about, is, like Lova says, like a ghostwriter writes a book, ghost founder helps you start your business because you need a tech arm.
That's right. So so we've explained, I guess, in great detail why it's awesome to have that, right? And just honing in on what's ghost founding, or I guess what are the alternatives to ghost founding, right? So, essentially, you can hire us to work with you to create this whole thing, which is obviously not going to be cheap, but we can produce very reliable, repeatable results, right? Because we've produced them for ourselves, we've produced them for other people already. But of course, it's not the only solution. You can, of course, study up and figure out all the pieces individually, right? How to, write a really great outline that gets that puts on the page what you have in your head and what you do when you are with your clients. And of course, we have an outline that we like to use that we've created, and but you can do that yourself, right? You can figure this out. It's many people, thousands of people have done it. Then another thing you need to do is you need to figure out your recording format. What are you even going to record, right? Is it going to be video? Is it going to be audio only? Is it going to be a book, kind of like what JP wrote? There's not a million, but there's definitely like a half dozen to a dozen different formats that you could do, paid newsletter, what have you. And of course, we have opinions on these things, right? So depending on what you do, what message you're trying to get across, that's like what we do, what we would kind of comb through with you in a strategy call, kind of like a consulting call. And then when it goes to implementing all this stuff, right? Say you do want to do a video course. Well, what are all the parameters that you need to know? What kind of camera do you need? Or how do you make it so that the audio doesn't suck, right? Because the fact of the matter is video. Yeah, video is important, but the audio is actually where it's really at. And so, just millions of little things. But so you'll see if you make a list, what it'll take you to get from deciding that that's what you want to do to actually having it available so that somebody can find it, interact with it, pay, right? And then is also delivered the goods, right? Delivered the digital product. It's quite a long journey, right? And so we have templates, prep this stuff, we have all kinds of technology lined up. I think we're working with 6 or I don't know, we counted at some point. I think it's like a dozen different platforms that we actually use to make this work for you, right? So basically, long story short, of course, you can do this by yourself, and I think you should, but the better way, the faster way, the more reliable way is to do it with us.
And I think I'll probably add to that and say it depends on your goal, right? That's more than anything else. Ghost Founder is about your goals. So because obviously another alternative to ghost founding is you can buy it, right? But if you are an expert and the credibility is yours and the authority is yours and it's your voice that matters, it's kind of hard to go buy that off the shelf, It's like, hey, you want that JP course made by JP right off the shelf? It's like that. It doesn't exist. You just have to make it, and you have to speak it in your own voice and
Yeah.
interact with your people. So buying it is definitely an option. Doing it yourself is definitely an option, or going with people that do it faster, that have done it is also an option. But really it depends on your goal, because ultimately, like, think about this, it's a business, right? If you have a dream of launching a product, anybody can do that. If you have a dream of starting a business and you want to go through that, anybody can do that too. But if you look at what's the outcome you're after, it's revenue, in a sustainable, repeatable process that's known to work, following models that have been proven. If that's the case, then that's what we stand up. It's not if you just want to feel good that you launch something, then cool. Like, that's easy. You can watch our videos. We have a whole bunch of videos in here that will show you exactly the steps for you to go through and do it. But if you're trying to get the results, the actual outcome, right? Not the process of getting to it, not all the things you have to piece together to get to it, but the actual end result, then that's where we come in. And if I do say so myself, we knock it out the park.
That's right.
But I don't have to, because our client said it.
Yeah, that's true. We'll link the testimonial under this video. Let's see, what else do we have? So alternatives, pros and cons. I guess what would be some cons to business ghost founding? We can kind of ride more pros.
I think honestly it depends on where you're at. The biggest cons would be, obviously there's definitely a cost to it.
Sure.
So there's an investment you got to make in order to get that off the ground. But it's like any business. You can invest your time, you can invest your sweat, or you can invest
Money.
money and be done. So that's one. I think the second one is, this is going to seem like a cop-out, but really some people don't know what they want. And so they want to take a very long way and figure it out as they go, like slowly, like try stuff, see what works, see what fails, just because they enjoy that process of exploring, right? If that kind of like aimless exploration is the phase you're in, then definitely not for you, because it's like, we drill down to the result you want in the first meeting. Right, it's very much like heat-seeking missiles. Like, you show us what's the target and let it go, and we will adapt to keep you on the heat. Like, that's pretty much it. And so, if you're trying to explore and kind of like figure out a market, see where you fit, that kind of like, then it might not be the best option for you, because we're going to deliver results, and we're going to deliver results fast. And there's not going to be a lot of room for like thrashing and abandoning the project and changing your mind. It's going to be like, go, done. And so that's, I would say that's a con. I would say a third. It's hard. I can't think of a third. When you think about it like a business, I can't think of a third. If you think about it like you wanting to get experience on creating products, then I would say that's the third, right? You miss out on the fun of figuring out and exploring all the tools that are out there and just kind of like seeing what works.
Yeah, although in all fairness, there's still plenty of figuring out, right? Even if you do it with us, there's, we are like the heat-seeking missiles that deliver the results, but even within that, you'll find that there's tons of decisions to be made. And and quickly. And so,
well, I guess I think that's a key point to make, is it's the difference between figuring out things in a matter of weeks,
right,
and launching in a matter of weeks versus months or years.
Yes, right, exactly.
Yeah.
And then another point was, we're really eager to do this in a way where we're building a long-term partnership with our clients, because that's what we're passionate about. We believe that entrepreneurship is the key to independence for the individual human being, basically, and in all aspects, right? Financial independence, independence from location, all these things you can get if you can make a service offering available through the internet. And the easiest, most scalable way to do that is through a digital product. And so well, what I said initially, like we're looking to partner with you. There's tons of business people who do not want a partner, and that's completely understandable. But so the way we handle this is we're very domain specific, right? Like we would define ahead of time what our domain is that we're interacting in, and you have your domain, and so we wouldn't typically, we would never butt heads or be in a situation like that. And at the end of the day, we want our compensation for this sort of long-term partnership to also be performance-based. So it means if we make money, you make money, you make money, we make money, right? So it's the best kind of partnership. There's no entitlements of any kind. But still, tons of people don't want to work with a partner, and that's also completely understandable.
Cool. So all that said, it comes back to the same thing we said in the beginning, which is, this is the ultimate guide to working with a business ghost founder. And we are the top of that space, actually. So it's like, we are the top in that space.
The only other place that we could even think of where you could go is something like maybe a digital marketing agency, or maybe like a digital content marketing agency or something. But then you would be presented with a menu of services, and it's like, sure, we can build you anything, and each item will be multiple thousands of dollars, because of course they're going to do every single individual piece to like the utmost perfection. And you're going to probably have an expert for each one of these topics. And that, of course, then means you also have to, pay for all that, right? So I asked a friend who's been in this sort of business for 8 to 10 years, and she said, "Oh, what do you guys do? Yeah, that would be like $40,000 to $60,000 normally." So in comparison, having a one-stop shop, it's going to be much more affordable, basically.
We definitely don't charge that, and I think there's probably two main reasons for that. The first one being that if you're taking the whole partnership approach that we take, then we look at it like we're working with, coaches that span a little bit of a range of things that they do. We're working with experts that span a range of what they do. And therefore, it's kind of like, it's hard in a way for people to drop that investment as an upfront investment sometimes, like 50 grand to get this digital business off the ground. So we figured out a model that works better with the type of people we're working with.
Exactly. And the key is, the final result that we want is we both make money together, right? That way everybody's happy. And so that's also how we work, right? So then that means we're not going to hire an expert for every single subject matter, because we are 80% of that expert already. And that's good enough, right? And when you start a business, you'll find really quickly, man, there's only so many hours in the day that you can work, right? And getting 80% to the goal is usually, from my experience, exactly what you want. Because if you go beyond that, it's just not, cost effective or time effective to go any further. So Ghost Founder helps people and businesses figure out how to make money online. Hopefully this was interesting for you. This was the ultimate guide on business ghost founding. We touched on the pros and the cons. What is it? What are the alternatives? And if you're interested in working with us, just reach out.
Enough said. See ya.
See you guys.